Hey, get ready. We're going to discuss how you can launch and monetize your ideas fast. Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Shakespeare, Sales Whisperer, your host. Today we have a very cool entrepreneur from Australia. He was joining us from Wyoming as we did this, James Swanwick. He was very open and honest, as all my guests are, and you'll hear about his story of launching, of failing, of getting a sweet gig, working on ESPN, still having the bug, the itch, how he launched again, how he almost failed again, how he turned it around, and how he has never looked back. We also get into his no alcohol challenge. That's really one of the first things I saw about him when I've seen him online for quite some time, and it was this 30-day no alcohol challenge, and it piqued my interest. And he didn't do it for any religious reason or any crazy health reason per se, but he did notice he performed better. Things were sharper and clearer. So you'll hear about that, and I've already applied that to my life, and it is making a difference. And so we're going to cover a lot of things, and you're going to want to take notes, pay attention as always, probably re-listen to a couple of things. I don't know about you, but I typically listen to podcasts at 1.5 to 2 times the speed, unless they are British or Australian. Sometimes the accent gets me, but his isn't too bad. So sometimes I'll listen to those a little bit slower. But you will want to take notes because we're talking about how he launched, how he bounced back. As usual, we're digging in. So you're going to like this episode. I'm just back from Phoenix. I spent several days there. Infusionsoft CRM has rebranded itself. They still have Infusionsoft, which is classic or the original or legacy, whatever name. And then they also now have what they call Keep, K-E-A-P. And they had just done the announcement of the rebranding the week before, so that was fresh on everybody's mind. We got to look at the new version, although it's been out for about 8 to 10 months. So we've already seen the smaller, lighter version, lower priced, easier to deploy quickly. But it was good talking with the staff, the developers, seeing what they're up to. But while I was there, I got to catch up with some friends, some old friends, made a new friend, sat in on a couple of sessions, which I usually don't do, and kicking myself in the butt because I got some great ideas. And we've got traffic and conversion coming up in San Diego, so I'm newly inspired to sit through that. I'll be in Austin in early March, going through some other top secret training I usually don't talk about. Probably won't talk about that either, at least not the event, but I'll talk about what I learned. And I tell you that because in one of these sessions, I got the roadmap for how to take the Make Every Sale program on the road and do it super affordably. We're looking at doing a 2-day session for as little as $197. It may be $97. Just have to look at the logistics, but it'll be under $200 for sure. And you can spend 2 days with me live in person, going through the program, answering your toughest questions, mapping out sequences, showing you how I use technology to get leads, follow up with leads, track them, all that fun stuff. There's no big secret upsell because when you enroll in the program for the live session, you're going to get immediate access to the on-demand content as well as the weekly calls, and you can stop that at any time. So there's no big thing to spring on you. You don't have to wait for the other shoe to drop. So just seeing that model, seeing somebody who did that exact thing quite successfully last year and is continuing it, it was just that aha moment I needed. Because I'm better in person. I was talking with a friend of mine. She's actually coming out with another friend this weekend from Phoenix, and we're mapping out some of the things we learned, but just knowing someone that knows me I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of doing some virtual things, thinking about doing, in person. And she said straight up, you're better in person. And I've always known that. I feed off the group, the energy. So the plan is I'm speaking with a team actually tomorrow. Well, as this goes live, I would have already spoken with them, probably have the landing page built. So stay tuned. That will be, it'll be makeeverysale.com/live. So there you go. Just put some pressure on myself to at least have a landing page up. makeeverysale.com/live. It's only a 1 month notice, really a 4-week notice. We'll pick the cities, first one may be all the way on the East Coast. That's where one of my team contractors is. I might do it just right here in San Diego because it's close, but you won't know when or where unless you listen to the podcast and get my updates. But again, it'll be a 1 month notice. That way, when you sign up for the live event, you get 30 full days to plug into the online community, use all the tools and the training before we even meet. And then after we meet, you can make an informed decision if you want to stay involved. And again, if you do, that's super affordable, under $200 a month as well. So, and month to month, no contract, right? But then at least you know what you're getting into. You can cancel while you're there. We'll have other tools to help you. We can talk about. So I'm kind of fired up about that. So stay tuned. MakeEverySale.com/live will be the redirect in the beginning. I don't know. I may just make MakeEverySale.com be the page as well, where you can sign up. We'll just put the next event right there on that page. We shall see. But hey, thanks for listening. Mark your calendars to check MakeEverySale.com/live as soon as you're done with this episode. And now let's bring on our guest. James Swanwick, all the way from snowy Australia. Well, I'm assuming you're in Australia. Are you in Australia?
No, I'm not in Australia. I'm in Jackson Hole, Wyoming at the moment with the snow in, but I am Australian.
But you are an Aussie. All right.
Yeah.
So very nice. You're in Wyoming. I have not been to Jackson Hole, but I've been to Wyoming. So, well, heck, you should have just come on down to my house in California. We could have done this in person.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking out at a snow in at the moment, about 8 inches of snow. So.
So, man, I'm going to do something dangerous as an interviewer, and I'm just going to kind of hand this over to you. I mean, we were talking before we hit record. You've got an interesting background. You've got your fingers in a lot of things. As I mentioned, I ran across you with your 30-day no alcohol challenge. So, we want to dive into that. But you're also an entrepreneur. Did you invent the eyeglasses for computer and electronics, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so I'm the creator of the 30-day no alcohol challenge, which helps social drinkers quit alcohol for 30 days. I also help entrepreneurs reduce or quit their drinking so they can make more money in their business and make more sales. And then I also have a sleep company called Swanwick Sleep, and we help people sleep better through these blue light blocking glasses that I have that I'm wearing right now, which are named Swannies. And I quit drinking in 2010 just for lifestyle reasons. I was not really I wasn't an alcoholic. I wasn't even a heavy drinker. I was a typical societally acceptable drinker. A couple drinks a night, maybe a glass of wine a night. But I realized it was slowing me down and holding me back from, financial success and, achieving all that I wanted. And so I just quit in 2010. I haven't drunk since. And then subsequently, I've become a healthpreneur, I guess you could say, in the sense that I start businesses around health, because when I quit drinking alcohol, I became very health conscious. Started doing, working out and running half marathons and getting clarity and focus. And so now I help entrepreneurs, quit drinking, and I help people in general sleep better through my sleep products, including the blue light blocking glasses, Swannies.
Right. So what were you doing in 2010 or, leading up to then? Did you already have your own business, or were you in sales?
Yeah, I was a newspaper and magazine journalist for many years, right through my 20s and early 30s. And then I owned a PR company towards the late 2000s. That was my first foray into the entrepreneurial world, but I lost that business. I had to close it down because the financial crisis came, and I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to stay in business. I lost clients overnight. The existing clients wanted to pay less, and that was a bit of a disaster. And then I quit drinking 2010, and I got a lot of clarity, a lot of focus, a lot of energy, and I ended up becoming a SportsCenter anchor on ESPN. So I hosted the TV show SportsCenter for 2 years, 2010 through 2012. And then, as good as that job was, it was a job. It was great. I got to be on TV and talk about sports the whole time. This entrepreneurial bug was really still inside of me. I really wanted to go up and kind of make up for the fact that I'd lost my business a few years earlier and give entrepreneurship another go. So I quit ESPN 2012 to go and be an online entrepreneur. I really wanted to create a business where I could be location independent. And to be honest with you, Wes, I struggled for 2 years. I was a man in his late 30s, and I only generated about $8,000 in the 18 months after I left my job, which was pretty soul-destroying for me. And then I finally invested in a business mentor. I paid him considerable money to coach me, and that's when I had considerable success. That's when I created the 30-day no alcohol challenge program. I then, did some coaching. I learned phone sales, sold programs over the phone, and then ultimately created this sleep company, Swanwick Sleep.
Selling over the phone. How archaic. Come on, man. I thought you were like this supercharged guy. You actually spoke to human beings to make a sale?
It was funny. 2000 up till the beginning of 2015, I would always say to people, "Oh, I hate selling. I don't want to do sales. Like, no way." I was always the guy who was like, "Oh, if you want to buy it, sure, buy it. But if you don't, that's okay. It's no big deal. It's all right." And I was like, "Ugh, I don't want sales. I don't want to do sales at all." And then I learned how to do it. It was a salesman came in and sort of showed me how to do it. And then I got on the phone and I made my first sale, which was for $997, which was some ridiculous dating course program that someone else had produced. And I just got this big rush. It was like, wow, that was amazing. Someone just gave me their credit card and I just processed a $997 payment. And then I just dived headfirst into it, and I learned everything about sales. And in 2015, and
what do you think? What were some of your faulty impressions or assumptions about sales that gave you that negative feeling in the beginning?
I guess that I was before I'd actually even tried to make my first sale. I always thought that trying to sell anyone was kind of dirty, or I was trying to people were trying to trick me into buying something, or they were using a system or a process to get me to buy. And then ultimately maybe I wouldn't see the value in paying that amount of money for whatever it was that I was purchasing. So it was a lack of belief in I guess, whatever product I may have had. And so therefore I just assumed that anyone who was trying to sell me was just trying to make money for themselves, and that anything that I was purchasing wouldn't have been of benefit to me. And I also grew up because I'm Australian, we're kind of like, we pride ourselves on being easygoing and kind of like laid back. And so the idea of like being a salesperson was kind of like being pushy, like pushing someone, trying to persuade someone to take an action. Whereas I kind of wanted to live into this identity of like, oh, just laid back, sure, you could buy it, you couldn't buy it. So I think I had that, that internal resistance really about salesmanship in general.
Right. Like they say, if there's no call to action, then there's no action taken, huh?
Yeah, that's true. That's good. I like that. I like that phrase.
So, so things start clicking. So you were selling somebody else's stuff just to earn like a affiliate commission, just to keep the lights on?
I was. 2015. Yeah, I sold a program called the Accelerator Program by a social media guy called Lopez, who's pretty famous in that world now. And he had a very, very good business program called the Accelerator. And I sold almost a few $1,000,000 of his program that year. And that's where I kind of like, learned the skills of selling over the phone.
Was he giving you the leads?
Yes, he was. Yeah. So I didn't generate any of the leads. He generated the leads, and then my job was to come in and then, convert those warm leads into purchasing either a $5,000 program, a $10,000 program, and on occasion a $25,000 program.
Right. So you're doing that 2015, and then were you still? So you'd quit drinking. Did you have a program around that already? The 30-day challenge?
No, I didn't. It was only towards the end of 2015 that I had this idea to create a program called the 30-day no alcohol challenge. And in my head, it was like, why don't I just do a video a day, have someone pay $67 to do this program, and each day for 30 days, I'll send them a video with a little tip from me on how to not drink that night, or what to say to friends if they're encouraging you to drink, or what to do instead if you're feeling stressed or anxious, where you ordinarily would have a drink to relieve your stress and anxiety. And so I built a program in 30 days. Ironically, it took me 30 days to build the program. I launched it. I started selling it for $67, and 4 years later now, it's helped tens of thousands of people around the world quit drinking for at least 30 days, and a lot of other people stay quit. Some people go back to moderation. Some people just stay quit.
So that beginning, I like to spend a lot of time in general on the beginning, because I know that's the hardest part for most people. And like they say, when they launch a rocket or the space shuttle, like 80% of the fuel is used just to get that thing off the concrete.
Right.
Right. Because then you start to get momentum.
Right.
But so what did you do for 30 days to create it? Were you building a website? Were you like getting your e-commerce together? What took 30 days?
Yeah, so I literally sketched out the plan on a napkin that I got from a hotel lobby, and I sat it down and I just sketched it out over 10 or 15 minutes. And I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up my iPhone and I'm going to record 10 selfie videos, which are going to be 10 pieces of content. I'm going to interview 10 people. And then the other 10 videos, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but that's what I'm going to start with.
Okay.
And I just said, in my mind, I just had 3 letters in my mind: MVP, minimum viable product. I said, Don't try to make this perfect. Just quickly throw something together and throw it up and see if anyone will buy it. And so I did the videos, I did the content, I did it over 30 days. I got a website. I called it 30-Day No Alcohol Challenge. I bought the domain.
Were they long videos? Were they short, inspirational?
No, mostly short. Mostly like 5 to 7 minutes in length, and then the interviews were a bit longer, like 30 minutes. Or
how did you know who you wanted to interview?
I had friends who didn't drink, so I just said, let's have a conversation about not drinking.
All right, so not necessarily celebrities, just mere mortals with a relatable story.
Yes, but I also interviewed John Gray, who wrote the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and he was pretty big on. He's a bit of an addiction expert, so I interviewed him. There were people that I knew who had written books before. I reached out and said, "Can I interview you on this topic?" I interviewed a habits expert, a guy called James Clear. Like, there were people I knew, I was friendly with, who were experts in their field, and I wanted to interview them about how their skills related to alcohol. And yeah.
And how'd you come up with $67?
Ty Lopez's 67 Steps was being sold for $67. So I said, all right, I'll just charge the same and see what happens. That was it.
Is it still $67?
Still $67. Yeah.
Nice. Do you find, is there a right or a wrong way, or a good, better, best, like start low, then come out with higher level products, or jump right into a high level product? Like, if you were starting over again right now, would you launch a $997 program or a $1997 program, or start at the lower and upsell people?
I think when you're trying to test a concept, you need to test everything. But I always like to just start with a minimum viable product and a low price. Like, just start off with a low price. and then just see if someone will actually pay you for that. I mean, the first thing you got to do is just make one sale. Right. Because if no one buys it, then you know that the concept, is ineffective.
Well, but how do you promote it, right? Because you could have a great idea, and if you don't have a budget for PPC, or if you don't have a list, how do you get the word out?
Well, at the time, I just got on my own personal Facebook page, and I asked people to share it. And here's the website. I've created this program. If you know someone who'd be interested, please share it. I went on to my social media like Instagram, and I shared it there. I'd actually just started a podcast at the time called The James Swanwick Show, which is on hiatus at the moment. But I started talking about it on the podcast. I also reached out to some friends of mine who already had podcasts, and I suggested that I come on the show and teach their listeners how to quit drinking, and thereby I was able to promote the 30-day no alcohol challenge program. So I think in the beginning, I just did, I shouted from the rafters, so to speak. I didn't spend any money on paid advertising. I just called in favors, reached out to people I knew, reached out to my network, posted on social media. And on the first day, I made one sale. The day I launched, I made one sale, and it was $67. And I went, oh, this is cool. And then I started telling people, oh, I made one sale yesterday. And then people were like, that's great. And then, they started sharing it. And then slowly but surely, I started to make sales. And then once people go through the program, then you ask them for a testimonial and you ask them to share their results. Now they become your best marketing engine.
Yeah. Amen. I call it ABCDE, right? It's a circle: attract, bond, convert, deliver, endear, right? You endear yourself, they're sharing it, you're back at the top, attracting more business. So funny how that works.
Yeah.
So I guess alcohol is a bigger problem than I realize. I mean, people, they just give in to peer pressure and like, oh, okay, tomorrow I'll stop drinking. I mean, is it that big a deal?
Yeah, I mean, people in society now, it's so entrenched in our culture that it's just such a normal thing to do. And so this is built up over many years, people are like, oh, it's all right, I'll just have a glass of wine at the end of the day to relax. But that glass of wine compromises your sleep. And when your sleep is compromised, you wake up just a little bit irritable. And when you're just a little bit irritable, you really only perform at a 6.5 or 7 out of 10, which is okay. But you're not performing at an 8 or a 9 out of 10, which could be generating you hundreds of thousands of dollars more in revenue or in sales or whatever it is in your business. So when you are not operating at peak potential, you are costing yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're also costing yourself relationships, because maybe when you're a 7 out of 10, you don't give your wife or husband or kids as much attention because you're tired, you're kind of lethargic. Whereas if you give them a 9 out of 10 attention, now you have an outstanding relationship, which means now you're happier, which means now you're healthier, which means now that you're more health conscious, which means now you're more focused and more energetic, which means now you are really like performing at the top level in your business, in sales, in entrepreneurship, which means you're generating more money, which makes you happier, which makes you buy better food, which makes you healthier. Like everything is linked in. So people have just, we grow up in this society where it's like it's okay to drink this poison every single day and no one blinks an eyelid. But what is it costing you? What's it really costing you? And the cost of buying the alcohol is inconsequential to what it's costing you in lost opportunities. So, I work with entrepreneurs now specifically to quit drinking. I have a program called Project 90, and entrepreneurs commit to quitting drinking for at least 90 days, and I give them support over that 90 days. And one member who joined recently, he was only in the program for 37 days. He did a third real estate deal where, because he had clarity and focus, where ordinarily he would just do 2 a year. And the commission to him was worth $400,000 in additional revenue. He said to me, James, quitting drinking made me an extra $400,000 this year. I was like, when you think about it like that, it's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. So what made you shift into physical products with the eyeglasses?
Well, I was very health conscious, as I was saying before. And I was out in a hotel restaurant with a friend of mine in Palm Springs, and he was wearing a really ugly pair of Uvex safety goggles to dinner. And there was a table of very attractive women adjacent to ours, and they were looking at him with these stupid orange, safety goggles on. And I said, Mark, you look ridiculous, and you're making me look ridiculous by association. And he said, no, man, I'm trying to block the blue light. And I said, blue light? What are you talking about? And then he went on.
At a restaurant?
Yeah, we're in a restaurant. Yeah, because the lights that were shining down from the roof have blue light in it. Like the light that you have in your room now, Wes, has blue light. The alarm clock that you use at night maybe has blue light. The kitchen light, the bathroom light, the kitchen light, the speedometer in your car, the McDonald's lights that you see as you drive along the highway late at night. It all has artificial blue light. And at night, if you're subjected to that light, it tricks your body and brain into thinking that it's daytime, which means you do not produce as much melatonin, which means you don't sleep as well. So the only way to really effectively block that light is by wearing an orange lens over your eyes. Now, you can use night shift on your phone. You can use flux on your computer, which reduces blue light exposure, but that doesn't block the light from your TV screen, from your bathroom light, your kitchen light, etc. So anyway, my friend was wearing these ugly glasses, and I did not want to look like a meth chemist wearing those ugly glasses either. So I said, I'm just going to design a stylish pair of blue light blocking glasses. And that's what I did. And that's how we came up with Swannies and started getting into physical products.
Well, that's still a big leap. I mean, making physical products, people all over the world have garages and self-storage units filled to the roof with things that were great ideas, and they had to pre-buy a container load to save money, and they're still sitting on those great ideas years later. So walk us through that transition.
So I reached out to Chinese manufacturers, and I said to them, I want a pair of stylish looking frames, and I want you to put an orange lens into these stylish looking frames. 3 manufacturers sent me prototypes to my home in Los Angeles. I looked at the prototypes. I handed them out to my friends and said, what do you think? Some of them said, these are terrible. Some of them said, these are great. I finally settled on the style that most people said were great. I ordered a minimum order of 300 units. I committed to spending the amount of money that I committed to spending on that. I had them sent over to Los Angeles, and then I launched them on Amazon on Thanksgiving Day. On Black Friday 2015, and sold the first 300 pairs in that month leading up to Christmas in about 30 days. For some reason, I like 30 days. It always just seems to work, whether it's 30-day no alcohol challenge or building a program in 30 days or selling out products in 30 days. But that's really how it started. It just started from an idea, reaching out to a manufacturer, asking them to make some prototypes, having them send over to me trying to negotiate to get them to, because they wanted to sell me 1,000 pairs right off the bat. And I'm like, nah. I'll give you 200. I'll buy 200 pairs. I said, nah, 600, 300. All right, 300. So then, again, minimum viable product. What was the least amount of money that I could spend in order to test this product to see if anyone would buy it? Right. And so that was why I ended up with 300 pairs. And then people bought it, sold out. And then, I used the money to go and buy some more and keep growing it.
So when you contacted these manufacturers, how long did it take you to get a prototype? 30 days?
No, it was a little bit longer than that. It was probably 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. A couple of them actually took one of them I think took a few months, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. So now that I know how to do it, I know it would only take me 30 days from this point on. But at the time, because I was new to it, I didn't know what I was doing. It probably took up to 3 months.
And then once you committed to the 300 units, did they make those pretty quickly?
It was about an 8-week lead time. Okay. So in that first year, from idea to actually being able to sell the first product was probably a 9-month process. I probably came up with the idea, I think, in February from memory, and then launched late November. So I think that's about 9 months.
Right.
Now I would say if I had an idea to like wanting to make my first sale, and I was sourcing product from China. I'm pretty confident I could get it all done within 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks, maybe.
So you didn't have to necessarily reinvent anything. I mean, did you find manufacturers? I mean, they were already making these glasses for someone else, and you came up with a variation so it could be your own and ran with it?
Yeah, it wasn't that I reinvented the wheel. It wasn't that I invented a new product. I took an existing product and just made it a little different. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck on this thing of, I need to invent something. Well, actually, no, all we need to do is just take something that already exists and just put our own little spin on it, make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, a little bit better, a little bit sexier, a little bit more stylish. So there were already blue light blocking glasses being sold on the market. They were just ugly as sin. If you wore them, you looked like a meth chemist. You know, they looked ridiculous. And so I was like, let's make health meet style. So let's take a healthy product, a product that blocks blue light and helps you, but let's make it fun and stylish and cool. And that's how I came up with these, you know, the stylish it kind of looked like Ray-Bans, but just with an orange lens in them.
And then do you wear them outside, or do you just swap out sunglasses?
Yeah, I don't tend to wear them myself outside in the daytime, although thousands of my customers do because they like the view through the daytime. I personally don't, but like I said, thousands do. I wear them in the last hour before I want to sleep at night. I put them on. I continue using my phone, continue, you know, being in light, and then I remove them after I've switched the final light off, and then I end up falling asleep, you know, quickly. I sleep deeper, and I wake up feeling refreshed. That I sleep almost flawlessly. I don't want to say flawlessly, but almost flawlessly. And I don't think there's been one night in 3 years that I haven't worn my Swannies for at least 20 minutes or so before I go to sleep each night.
Gotcha. And then how do you create variations, right? Because I'm going to assume from there you want to take it and add on, right? I mean, do you add on clothing and apparel, beanies? I mean, how do you decide where to take it or not, right? I mean, sometimes, well, the blue blockers, right? Those have been for sale for, I don't know, 30 or 40 years. So, you know, how do you decide how to stay focused versus how to iterate and when to iterate?
Yeah, well, we launched with our first product called the Swannies Classic, which was just a black frame, kind of looked like a pair of Ray-Bans. And then from there, after we sold those first 300 pairs, we went, let's get a tortoise style frame, you know, kind of like a tortoise pattern, and see if anyone buys that. And then people started to buy that. Then we started asking our customers, what do you want next? Like, what style do you want? And some of the feedback we got was from women saying, we'd love a cat eye, like a cat eye frame. Some parents came to us saying, do you have any glasses for kids? And we're like, maybe we should create some kids glasses. So now we have a whole kids range where it's, you know, got neon green and blue and red and pink Swannies glasses. And then from there, we said, what other sleep products would you be interested in? And a couple people said, well, not a couple, but a lot of people said, we'd love a silk eye mask. So I then went to China and said, let's try and find the best silk eye mask we can find, or let's make one, you know, make our own. And that's exactly what we did. We made an oversized 100% pure silk sleep mask, which actually won an award in 2017 for the world's best high-end sleep mask, which was terrific. But it all just came out of asking our customers, hey, what do you want us to make next? Because a lot of times we think customers will love this, and then you launch it and they don't. But if we just took the time to ask them, hey, what style of glasses do you want next? What other products do you want? They'll tell you. And then you ask them what they want, you go and get it, and then you give it to them. It's pretty simple.
Right. So what's working now? Where do you see things going, like from a marketing standpoint? Are you doing a lot of paid advertising? Is social media still as effective? You know, if somebody's kind of new and starting out, or maybe sales are down a little bit or struggling, where should they focus here in 2019?
Well, I like personalizing the brand a lot. So I share my personal story a lot, my lifestyle. I think people are sick and tired of faceless brands. Like, people like to know the personalities of the people behind the businesses and the stories about how they started it. So I think if you can be relatable and you can share your life, whether it's with your kids or your travel or your life, or even talk about how you're building the business as you're building the business, people become emotionally attached to you, and there's a trust factor and an authenticity and a bond and a connection that is created that ultimately encourages people to buy from you, whereas ordinarily they may not. So certainly on my Instagram, which is at James Swanwick, and my Facebook page, James Swanwick Official, I like to share stories about what I'm doing and who I'm with. And right now, you and I are talking, Wes, and right when we started the call, I said I'm in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and there's 8 inches of snow outside. You know, I'm kind of painting a picture, a story, if you like, about who I am and where I am and my personality. And certainly in my 2 businesses, if we look at the Swanwick sleep business, me sharing my story about how my sleep used to be okay, and then I started wearing these ugly pair of glasses and my sleep was better, and then I decided to create a stylish pair. People resonate with that. They're like, oh, okay, now I'm becoming emotionally invested in this product. And then with my 30-day no alcohol challenge and my Project 90 program, which helps entrepreneurs quit alcohol, I share a lot of my story about how I used to be a social drinker and it was slowing me down, and then I quit. And then when I quit, I got my dream job hosting SportsCenter on ESPN. I started a business. I had clarity, focus, energy. People start to really listen to that and resonate with that personal element, that personal side of the story. And I think that kind of marketing is where we're going. And I think, putting a face to a brand and sharing your story is going to get you a hell of a lot more customers, a lot more sales than if you're just a faceless brand.
Would you say that holds true in B2B? What if I'm a copier salesman, or selling IT services, and I'm calling on big companies and have to talk to the CIO or the director of IT, who's probably not on Instagram?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're talking to them on the phone, it's like any good sales call. You're wanting to create a connection, right? So the more personality or the more personal part of your life you can share with them, the more likely you are to be able to create a connection and a bond, the more trust you're able to create. So doing business is really trust and relationships, right? It's not just here's money, give me what I want. It's like there's a trust factor involved with that. So if you can increase your level of trust by being more personable, then you're certainly going to, your sales will increase.
Right. All right. Last question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? Do you want to sit back or
sure,
or maybe sit forward? I don't know.
Let's do it.
So our listeners, they're like you, right? Maybe they're traveling, they're on a plane, maybe they're working out, right? Jogging on a treadmill, whatever. And they can't write anything down or do something, but what should they do at the end of this interview? What should they do right away, as soon as they can, to move the needle, to make an impact in their business and their life, as a result of listening to this?
Well, look, I'm obviously going to be biased, right? Because I have 2 businesses that it serves my interests for your listeners to get involved with my businesses. But I will say this: I help people reduce or quit alcohol, and I help people sleep better. And if you are a business owner, or you're a salesperson, or you're an entrepreneur, if you reduce or quit alcohol and if you sleep better, you will make more money. You will be more successful. You will be happier. You will be healthier. So what would I encourage people to do? Well, as it relates to sleep, whether you purchase my blue light blocking glasses, Swannies, or not, focus on your sleep. Like literally focus on your sleep. Google, learn everything you can about best sleep practices. And I can tell you the biggest breakthrough that I've had has been blocking blue light at night. Likewise, if you can reduce or quit alcohol, you will finally understand just how productive and clear and efficient that you can be in your life. Because when you drink alcohol, it slows you down, and you only have to be drinking 1 glass a night for it to slow you down, to be just a little bit irritable the next day. If you quit alcohol, reduce it, you will have more energy, you'll have more focus, you'll have more clarity, you'll be able to make better strategic decisions, you'll have better relationships, you'll lose weight if you've got weight that you feel like you want to lose, you'll have more energy. So give it a try. Go to 30daynoalcoholchallenge.com if you want to try it for 30 days. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to quit amongst a group of other entrepreneurs and it's fun, go to jamesswanwick.com/project90. But even if you don't do any of those things and you don't get involved with my two businesses, just focus on sleeping better and focus on reducing or quitting alcohol, and your life will transform. I promise you.
Yeah. All right. We will link to all of that, and I will do it as well. Well, James, thank you, sir. Are you going skiing, I hope? Are you a skier? Are you a snowboarder?
I'm a skier. I've been skiing the last 3 days. I'm not going skiing today. I have a flight out in about 6 hours, but I think the road to the airport has been closed and they're canceling flights. So I may be here another couple of days. Might be stuck here a couple of days.
Well, there's worse places to be stuck, huh?
That's right.
Very nice. Well, thank you for coming on the Sales Podcast, man. It's been great.
Thanks so much for having me, Wes. Appreciate it.
So I just wrapped up an interview that will go live in a couple of weeks with another individual that did not reinvent the wheel. He made a better iteration of what already existed. And you heard in this interview, man, that's what James did, right? He doing that with the glasses, he didn't invent those. He just made them a little bit better. And he just was a better marketer as well. That's the key. If you have a good product and great marketing, you'll win. If you have great product and only good marketing, it's going to be tougher. You're going to lose to the person with better marketing. So how committed are you to delivering a powerful message in a powerful manner? A lot of people aren't. They're afraid to do powerful marketing. They don't have a powerful message. You sound like everybody else, so you're going to be treated like everybody else. He talked about he didn't like selling. He had a lack of belief in his products. I've always said, great marketing makes selling easy, but great selling makes great marketing possible. When you develop your marketing, you are selling people on opening your letter, opening your email, clicking on your ad, watching till the end, reading till the end, clicking on the call to action button, buy now, schedule your free call, open your free trial, whatever. Then you got to sell them on sticking with it, not canceling, not filing a chargeback. Okay, that's why I say as well, to make any sale, you must make every sale. Every sale is just like a relationship. How do you approach the person? Are you at a bar, are you at a restaurant, are you at the fair, are you at the pool? How do you approach them? What do you say? How do you engage? There's a process. There's a life cycle. You're building a relationship with your significant other. You're building a relationship with your prospects and customers. You have to make every sale to make any sale. So I love, the approach that he took, his honesty, talking about this no alcohol challenge. Man, in the last week since I interviewed him, I've had many opportunities to drink, and on a couple of them I did, but like one drink instead of 2 or 3 or 5. And what a difference. And on a couple of occasions, didn't drink at all. And, people at first like, oh, do you not drink? Like, just not tonight. Another, oh, do you not drink? I said, well, I'm trying something new. And people were cool with it. Some asked me about it. Others didn't really care. They were just being sociable, being polite. Hey, would you like a drink? Like, no, I'm good. So try that. The other thing driving me is, I'll be 49 in April, and I train hard with jiu-jitsu. I hit the gym. So I'm doing jiu-jitsu 4 days a week. I'm in the gym 2 to 3 days a week. So, 6 to 7 days a week, I'm getting after it. But the reality is, the days I'm in the gym, I'm doing a lot of stretching, lighter weights, doing more core and functional type exercises, a lot of body weight exercises, although I'm still doing some squats, some of the core things like military press for shoulders, but I'm sore. I'm tired. So I've been testing some things. People give me all these ideas on supplements. There's so many people doing testosterone replacement, even women. I asked a question on Facebook, and so many people were commenting, and so many people are on them. But then a few start admitting their side effects, and then you got to take other things to counter the side effects. And I'm like, I just don't want that stuff in my body. So what if I eat really clean, right? What if I test all these things? You know, they talk about gluten, and I always like poo-poo the idea. But, you know, our food has changed dramatically in the last 50 years. So I'm like, what happens if I cut out alcohol? Even though I don't drink a lot, I have, 2 to 5 drinks in a week, you know? So what if I cut that out? What if I cut out gluten? What if I cut out refined sugar? I mean, none of that's really necessarily good for you. I can still eat rice. I can still eat potatoes. I can still eat fruit, right? Bananas with peanut butter. Sign me up, brother. I love me some peanut butter. So, so I'm trying that. And that's all brand new. But I do feel a little bit better. But we'll see. I'll be training tonight. I'll see how that goes. I feel like my recovery has been a little bit better last couple of days. Went hard on Friday. Went hard on Saturday. I'm recording this on Monday. I feel pretty good. So, but that gave me some new ideas, so instead of putting more junk in your body, see if you can just fuel it better. And I'm talking with my clients. I always tell them, I use that analogy just today, talking with a friend of mine I'm helping with a joint venture idea. I said, people will pay 10 times as much for an aspirin than for a vitamin. In this country, we don't have health care. We have sick care. And we want to just treat things chemically. And, body heal thyself, right? Stop macking down on the pizzas and the double cheeseburger and the fries and the shakes and the ice cream, and fuel your body better. Right now I drive a Porsche. I've had a couple of BMWs or Mercedes. They take premium gas. Those cars run better with better fuel. And not all fuel's the same. My brother-in-law actually studied this, and his research found that Chevron had the best. So, I passed one on the way to the gym, so I just put Chevron in it. And I haven't had problems with my cars. So what are you putting in your body? You're putting some good stuff in your brain here, listening to the sales podcast. But what are you putting in your body? So, go check out the notes. I linked to everything that James mentioned. His 30-day challenge, no alcohol challenge. You can, I'm linking as well to his glasses, and use the promo code WHISPER, and that will get you a little discount. So make sure you check that out. But in general, what are you putting in your brain? What are you putting into your eyes? I'm literally, right now, they were supposed to have sent them to me, but they were delayed. But I do have some of these tinted computer glasses, and I forgot I had them. So I'm using those, and it's the end of the day now, 4:21 p.m. as I record this, and I do feel less fatigued. My eyes are burning less, really not at all right now. I've been using these all day long. I'm at my desk all day long. So, what are you putting into your system, including your ears, your brain, your eyeballs, your gut? Stack the odds in your favor. Like I said, to make any sale, you have to make every sale. So if you want to wake up early and get after it, you got to go to bed early. To go to bed early, you got to have some discipline. To get good sleep, you have to have discipline as well. What's in your system? A bunch of alcohol, a bunch of heavy food, or you're eating clean. So that's what I'm doing. 2019's off to a good start, and I think it's going to be a great year because of this discipline. So I'm counting on you to do the same. If you need more help in your business, check out makeeverysale.com. Like I said, we're going to make the page go live as well, makeeverysale.com/live. At least you can get on the waiting list. I don't have the city picked out yet, but we'll get that nailed down and get it going. So I appreciate your support. Thanks for listening. I'll go sell something.